Hey, gang, we are back with another great CPA purpose story for you this week. I'm Bill Sheridan with the Maryland Association of CPAs. Still looking for that elusive why behind the work that CPAs do, right? And this week, my guest is Tim Samuel. Tim's originally from Belleville, New Jersey. He was a young CPA working in public accounting in Pennsylvania when he got the call to join the faith community at Bridgeway Community Church in Columbia as their CFO. And he's been a good friend and active member of the MACPA ever since. In the beginning, Tim was drawn into the profession by the logic of accounting, right? The balance, the problem solving aspect of the work. But then, by working within his strengths, he found his true role hidden in all that logic as a translator of the language of business, helping clients understand the story behind the numbers. And as with so many other folks that I've talked with as part of this series, Tim's accounting journey started with a teacher who not only taught the finer points of accounting, but who also used discipline to help Tim and the rest of the students focus in on the small details, the little details, which often make the biggest impact. I'm going to let Tim take it from here. Here's Tim Samuel with his CPA story.
And so I had a teacher in high school. I took a business course because I was always interested in business course, and it was happened to be accounting one. To be honest, I didn't know what accounting one was until I entered that class. And on top of that, that teacher wasn't playing around, and so he was really, really hard on students the first 2 weeks. And so
Now, what do you
struggling to
mean
stay.
hard on him? What was it about him
Oh,
that?
yeah. Um, You had to have like your book covered neatly. You had to make sure you had to bring your sharpened pencils to class. You couldn't like just talk. You would have to not hard in not in like just in disciplines in life. Just think of not having gum. And so those things that as students that are like just
Just some rules in place that
yeah.
everybody had to follow.
And he
Yeah.
was a strict enforcer of those rules. And then he's like, "This is going to be what I teach." And I'm pretty sure it's been a minute since I was in high school. He would say like, "Oh, you got a zero," and we're like, "What?" And so, uh, it was just that first 2 weeks where like just he was really disciplined. And after those 2 weeks, he actually calmed it down, and I felt like he did a little shaking out. And then he really started teaching accounting, and I was like, "Oh, I understand this. Like, it's logical." And to be honest, Bill, I went into accounting or I got really excited because I didn't have to write. I didn't have to write and I didn't have to use, communicate or English language.
Yep.
Life is funny, right? Accounting, you need to communicate more than probably write numbers at my stage of the career. But as a high schooler, I was fascinated that you could have something on the left that needs to equal on the right. It was logical, and I could express the language of money, which in every kind of business or ways you create wealth, money's always involved.
Yeah, that's a great way of looking at it. Well, you've had a couple of different roles in the profession over the years. Sounds like with the big working for the big four now down in the nonprofit world. I mean, what do you see as the why behind your work as a CPA, Tim? I mean, what do you accomplish by doing what you do?
So the why, I tie it back later in my career. I took Strength Fighters 2.0. I think MACP is a big proponent of working in your strengths. One of my strengths is two of them mine that helps me be a CPA is actually all of them, but what really helped me understand I have belief. And so it's a belief in the strength finders in the executing domain. And so for me, I need to believe in what I do to really understand it. And so why accounting? Well, we get to communicate kind of looking back sometimes of where you said you wanted this, but this is what actually where your money went to support these. Sometimes they line up, sometimes they don't, but it yields a honest conversation. And then going forward, you say, hey, if you want to go here, here's how you structure it. So the why behind kind of why I do it, because I believe that I really want to inspire people to um, achieve their dreams, achieve their goals, and a lot of times where their money goes helps them figure out. And so a recent phrase I've stole from someone who told me, as a CPA, we create margin for the business leader or the CEO so that they can spend it. So we kind of reduce margin so then they could get again and kind of spend margin. And so at the end of it, I think I believe in the CPA profession because we help people get to go where they want to head in life.
That's a great way of looking at it. And I've never heard that before. Creating margin so the CEO can spend it. That's another great way of just unique. Everybody's got a different way of looking at the profession and what they do and what its purpose is. So I like that. Um, I mean, we're dealing with a talent shortage now. We're looking for ways to bring more people into the profession. If you were sitting down with a student who was trying to figure out where they were going to go, what they wanted to do, what would you tell them about accounting?
So just had this conversation that kind of I think 2 Sundays ago with this business major student. I'm like, hey, you really should check out accounting. First thing I would say, hey, don't let the professor or your class kind of scare you out of it. You can do it. Maybe you need to study a little bit more, but you can make it through. So just encouraging them on the education side when they had to get through managerial accounting, and I think intermediate, I might be using outdated words, but that's what the courses were called when kind of I took it. So like, hey,
Yeah.
just encourage them that they are beautifully and wonderfully made and they're intelligent and they could do this. So that's the first thing I kind of tell students when I kind of advise them. And the second, often say, hey, if you make it through and I know you're going to pass it, even though it's hard, a lot of us have, but you got to study. When you pass it, you kind of have a freedom where you could go in kind of any sector that you want. And so it opens doors for you that you maybe couldn't be able to break. And so this could be a pathway to something, or it could be your ultimate career. But a CPA is a great pathway to get you involved in kind of any sector of economics or business you could get and enter into. So I kind of encourage them on that way first, so they just see it broader. A lot of times when we ask the CPA who doesn't do taxes, that's often the what we get asked for. And I still get, even though work for a church, um, and a nonprofit, they're like, "Oh, it's your busy time this part of the year," and I'm like, sometimes I go, "Yeah." I'm just not even responding to that question, but just even for students, hey, taxes is one area. I'm not talking bad. We need a lot of good CPAs who are great with our kind of tax code in this country and globally. But there's also many other things you can do. But the kind of the linking of the knowledge of the international kind of code of language, I say, is money. And so to be able to interpret that as a basis for your career is such a great start.
Great stuff there from Tim Samuel. So glad he could take time out of his busy schedule to be with us today. We want to hear from you as well. So head on over to macpa.org/Y and share your story with us as we try to offer just a little bit of inspiration to the next generation of accounting and finance professionals. We want to hear what your CPA purpose is as well. In the meantime, thanks for being here. As always, we'll be back again next week. More stories to share then. Until then, have a great week, everyone. Take care.